You can never forget the trip to Kailasakona in 1967 or thereabouts. Once again, I thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion and accept our small tokens of gratitude at this meet. I pray Lord Venkateshwara to give you long life and wish you all and your family members health, wealth and prosperity.
All of us who have become surgeons, for us, yours was the first scalpel you have put in our hands. This, he will come and give the citation. I request Madhavan, Dr. Madhavan, he is a psychiatrist in USA. He will come.
Sir, children, sir. Sir. Sir, patron.
It's my privilege to briefly touch upon the biodata of Sri V.T.V. Prasad Rao, our beloved teacher of physics at Center School from 65 to 1971. He taught us GK, he taught us physics. What impressed us most was your metaphysics. Your teaching technique is so wonderfully unique. For our houses of knowledge, you gave us golden bricks. That's how we know him as a brilliant teacher and friend, philosopher and guide to every one of us. But if one looks at his brilliant academic career, we soon realize how lucky we were to have him in the Center School in those days. Born on the 22nd of September 1943, he had an excellent academic record throughout his career. He graduated from Andhra University in 61 with distinction, getting as much as 83%, which is something unheard of those days. Soon he did his post-graduation physics from the reputed BHU Benares. He topped his batch of 1973 when he had a BD training at Mysore. In 1978, he went to UK and did a one-year thesis on science education. For this, he was awarded the coveted Associateship of Chelsea College from London University. Later, he visited most of the European countries, including France, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany. Probably he's the most traveled teacher today. The fact that he was elected to be the principal of Indian Embassy School at Moscow, Russia, speaks of his high caliber and the impeccable standards they set. After his retirement from KVT Vidyalaya, Dr. Prasad Rao was not a person who can sit idle. He worked with Nalanda education institutions, and he was the person who coordinated the AMSET training. I'm sure he would have been instrumental in getting top ranks for students during his stint there. Even at the age of 66, he is dynamic, agile, sharp, as you can see yourself. He looks younger and fitter than most of us. That's what I feel. He is so tech savvy that a few days ago he invited me to a web chat, and we both had a heart-to-heart discussion through the computer. So the way he was typing, it was far faster than I could. So it's really great to honor him, sir. And I believe he initially wanted to become an IAS officer, but couldn't do so because of family constraints. IAS would have been a cakewalk for him, but God had other plans in store for him. He is responsible for the solid foundation of our knowledge in general, GK, science in particular, and physics to be specific. But what impresses everyone is his approach to metaphysics, the science beyond science. During those tender years, he set himself as an example and made us realize the importance of hard work, sincere quest for knowledge, and given us an approach to life which is so unique and known only to those who studied under him. Who can forget the wonderful way he used to teach physics and explain even the most difficult equations with such ease and clarity? Who can forget the practicals in which he made us everyone participate in each and every experiment and used to supervise directly? We can never forget his statement, all heat experiments are Daba experiments, in more senses than one. And who can forget the story of Helen of Troy or Ulysses when he taught us Greek mythology in between regular classes? He had a keen sense of humor. I remember when he was just back from Benares or Varanasi. He had a professor of Benares who used to say, "Why are you parking in the verandas?" He used to tell us. But our physics teacher always has an imitable style of his own. He was always impeccably dressed in kilt and tie. Even now he is like that. But on Saturdays, one of the weekdays, he used to come in a traditional dress of spotless dhoti and kameez. I hope you remember that. So that was a great Prasad Rao. And he's blessed with 2 daughters and 4 grandsons. And one of the grandsons is already an MBA. Can you believe that? I can't. We were lucky to have you, sir, as our teacher. And we're really proud that such an accomplished person and a rare gem of a man was our teacher once. We pursued higher studies and saw several lecturers, readers, professors, directors, deans. But we never met anyone anywhere near your caliber. That much I can tell you. We're all grateful to you, sir, and salute you for the wonderful education you gave us. We pray Lord Venkateshwar to give you and your family long life and good health. Finally, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to express my thoughts in this wonderful meet. Jai Hind.
Because I know I am one of the elevated students who was attacked with epilepsy. I know most of the teachers who worked here bear the epilepsy and took me to such heights and molded KVT Prasad Rao. We won't call him as an ordinary teacher. He's a great psychologist, and he tuned my life to be true. I cannot forget those faculties, of course, especially the great KVT Prasad Rao, who know my psychology, who knew my psychology, and walked, talked, and everything with me. Thanking you for giving me this opportunity.
Whose father was Professor of Hindi in SP University, would like to read a citation about Rajeshwar Ananda Sharma.
It would have been appropriate if I had read this citation. गुरुदेव गुस्सा करेंगे क्योंकि शायद मेरी हिंदी दिल्ली में रहने के कारण बहुत ही. He actually had a double MA. He was a Master of Arts in Hindi, and both Dr. Ashok Singh and me have the privilege of having parents who have taught him. But he was also a postgraduate in Telugu. He was an MA Telugu and an MA Hindi. He then joined us as a teacher. I would like to mention a few things about the way we were. In 65, the school started. We were 35 students in the 6th standard, and many of the students sitting at the back would just refuse to believe that at least half of them did not know Hindi alphabet. They were all students who had studied up to the 5th standard in the local municipal schools. They were not having a knowledge of Hindi letters. And let me assure you that the standard of Hindi syllabus that was fixed during that period was very much more complex than what it is today. It was many years later that the Hindi that's been taught to the students in the Kendriya Vidyalayas was changed from literary Hindi to communicating Hindi. So you can imagine the kind of challenge Rajeshwar Ananda Sharma had when he had to teach these children who were learning to write the Varnamala and to teach from a book which was way beyond their capacity. And I still remember that we had even an audited called Jatak Kathaएं. I wonder how many of us could have read through one paragraph of Jatak Kathaएं, except people like Ashok Singh and Achal Kumar, who happened to be people with Hindi as mother tongue. The greatest part about this was that the old Hindi syllabus had extensive component from Braj, Bihari, all dialects of Hindi, and he really made us understand the subject. He taught us. We had the poetics, ras, chand, grammar. We had one full paper of grammar. That was one paper to be answered over 3 hours. And perhaps the greatest achievement he has achieved was that all the 15 students who wrote the 11th class examination at his students have all passed. That's a great, no mean achievement when you realize that here was a man who taught what normally takes 12 years in 6. I think that is enough for great achievement. Following his...
My dear students, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a great pleasure for me to have been associated this thing in a very small way. Although Patanjali has intended that I should speak a word or two on my relationship with the teacher, it was wonderful, very unique indeed. In that, he was the only teacher teaching Hindi and I was the only student learning Hindi, the literature of it. And the beauty was, it was being done in the pristine environs of KVT Vidyalaya, in the abode of the Lord, with the hills in the background, with verdant tree line, which we miss here, with an intent so noble, so intense, that he would make someone unknown and completely innocent of Hindi like me to understand not only the word of it, the grammar in such a manner that I could speak it with great authority where I serve now. Professor Aviraj Sharma Garu, he typifies a teacher who personifies excellence in every sense of the term. Not only was he a master of the subject, his personal character or something is a complete and perfect blend of nobility, sincerity, devotion. He could give anything. I remember days when he used to call me to his place and make me go through the homework and make me understand a language which is entirely foreign and so very difficult. I mentioned this not only for him. If most of us here, our students, our alumni, somehow may not been able to bring out the spectrum of success achieved by this batch. He is today the Joint Director General of Shipping, based at Bombay.
Hello. Sri D. Ramamurthy Garu was our English teacher in the world because of our English, strength in our English. We are able to beat Chinese only because of this advantage. And fortunately for us, we had a teacher, who was emotionally strong to take this subject. That is the gift that God has given him. You see, Bhakti Yoga, to see the expression in him, to understand this. Today we are able to understand that child is father of a man. To describe that, what should have been his agony and the anguish, to see that we understood that. And if he made us understand, then our childhood has really paid us off today as fathers. Yes. And to understand Shakespeare, we were all underage. As one of the earlier speakers itself said, we did not go up to 12th class. We completed 11th class and then cleared our pre-university. And to these children, he had to teach Shakespeare with annotations and Elegy written in a country churchyard, Ode to the West Wind, Ode to a Nightingale. Whenever it was melancholy, you could see his expression on the face and understand it. The pensive mood with which the writer wrote, he could express. Such was his emotion. And that has stood us in our life. And what we are, if 8 are surgeons and art candidates are no less, they are all brigadiers and IRS and also AS. And to tell you frankly, Radhakrishnan as well as Rajaji say that when it comes to spirituality and religion, you should rise above the materialism and above the ordinary scientific doubts. After you have cleared it, you reach your spiritualism. So he took us to those glorious heights, and today we are really honored to be here, and then to give him a standing ovation and also pay respect to him today. We are really grateful, sir. The foundation which you gave is not just for art students, it's for every one of us. And we can never forget your contribution. And even when they have gone abroad, they still remember you for this English and English. Thank you, sir.
And he used to talk grammar. No?
So as he said, Ram Prabhu said, somebody said, used to teach grammar so well, and in one of the examinations, annual examination, I remember, and I let the last 10 grammar questions to be finished at the end, and then our physics teacher Prasad Rao was the examiner, supervisor, and then I couldn't get the time to finish that last part, and then he simply snatched away the paper, despite my pleadings. And then okay, questions, 10 marks, believe me. Then said, let's come off it. Don't worry, I am giving the marks. Okay, he said, and I believe me.
Good morning, everybody. I am Manu Yogi talking to you, working as an English faculty at Vijayawada for the Sri Chaitanya Group of Institutions. The most remarkable teacher of ours happens to be one by name Sri T. Bhujangarao Garu, an economics PGT. In fact, once we heard his lesson, there was absolutely no need for us to go through the books at home. Such was his mode of teaching. A subject which is absolutely said to be a dry subject was made a wonderfully interesting subject to us. It was only because of his way of teaching and the mode of teaching. I still remember the year he was transferred from this place to Chennai, if I remember well. The day when all of us went to the railway station, standing on the platform and shedding tears at the time of his departure from Tirupati. The most unforgettable day for me. I still remember the big bang I had from him on my cheek.
So she doesn't need any introduction to art batch from 1965 to 71. That was the period when we stayed here. But the present batch should know what was the nature and what was the commitment towards the music, which was at that time not considered on par with the other educational subjects. And she was able to make even the boys to sing to her tunes. That's the most important thing.